Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lucy. Today I'm making a video about expectations. This is something that I have struggled with for a very long time. It took me a while to really understand it and really understand how I can change this, because I always thought it was something that it was just my personality and I would always have to just deal with it. But I know I'm not the only one who struggles with this, and so I wanted to talk about it because if someone who is like me is watching this, hopefully it can help them. Basically, I'm always the person in most relationships who gives more. I'm always thinking what can I do to make my friends the happiest? And even if my friends go away for a week, on vacation, I'm always thinking oh, we should all go over and surprise her and bring her stuff. Or oh, my friend just took a really hard test, she's probably really stressed. I should go over and surprise her with her favorite food or whatever. Or I should go bring my friend coffee and whatever. Just all this stuff, just always what can I do to make them happy? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just kind of sucks. The thing is that subconsciously I have always longed for this back. And it's hard to admit that, but I always think that maybe one day I'll receive this back, and maybe if I do this to them, I'll receive it back sometime, some way, and that's been really difficult for me to admit to myself and to the people in my life, because that's not something I'm proud of. And it's I denied it for a really long time. It's the same concept with judging people. If you judge someone, you then think that everyone else is judging you as well, or they're also judging people. And so it's the same mentality that if I am thinking of doing this for someone, that they're thinking of doing it to me, or they're thinking of doing those similar things. And then I finally realized that people show their affection in different ways, and that was always something that was really hard for me, because I thought there was only one way to show affection, I guess. Or for me, I cherish physical interaction with people. For example, when I'm going through something really rough, I want my friends or someone there with me in the moment. And yes, it's helpful when people are there over the phone or whatever, but it's it's not the same. And I always thought that everyone else felt the same way, but they don't. And so I learned that I have to ask people. I have to be completely honest with how I'm feeling and be hey, listen, I'm having a really tough time. Can you please come over? And that was hard for me, because you're already in a vulnerable state, right? You're upset or whatever, you just need someone, and then you putting yourself out there and being can you please come over? I need your help. And then if they say no, if they say they can't, or if they say no, it really hurts and it really stings. But it's you have to learn that if they cannot be there for you in your time of need, then it just shows who they are as a person, and you have to then lower your expectations for that person, because clearly they can't fulfill them. But also with expectations is before I realized that people show their love in different ways, I had always had such high expectations for my friends and stuff like that. And I had always thought that if they didn't do those things for me, they didn't really care about me. And if I was always there for them, if I was always thinking oh, I'm at CVS right now, I should go buy Tabitha her favorite candy, and then if she didn't ever do that back to me, it was really hard for me to think oh, she loves me the same, that was a difficult concept for me to grasp. Oh, she just doesn't think the same way I do. But I think I finally realized that, but there was a long period where I didn't understand that, and I thought that since no one was doing this for me, that I just loved everyone in my life much more than they loved me. And that sucked because I would just be so upset for like years, you know, like I think it like mostly started in like 8th grade, because like I've kind of always been like this, you know, I've always been like trying to please other people. And like that also comes like, for example, the other day my friend texted me and asked me to bring her coffee, and I went like completely out of my way to go bring her coffee. And because it makes me happy, you know, it makes me happy that I'm doing these things for people. But then once it hits you that like they probably wouldn't do that same thing back to you, it makes you feel shitty, and it kind of feels like parasitic almost, because they're like sucking all this out of you, and like you don't like get that affection back. And since I'm such a caring, affectionate person with like so much love to bring, when I don't receive that back, it's very difficult for me. And with certain people in your life, it's not that they're bad people, it's just that they're the wrong people. That mindset that I had that like no one loved me as much as I loved them was so toxic, and like I just couldn't get a hold of the fact that people show their love in different ways. And I couldn't let go of this fantasy and expectation that I had that my best friends would always be there for me, always be like thinking of me and doing sweet things for me. And like I'm not saying that like no one in my life does that for me. It's just like much less than I do for them, you know? And like that's fine, but it's about like managing that and realizing that I will be okay if they don't do that for me. Like I will be okay if this person like doesn't like bring me coffee or whatever. I don't know, just like on that same thing, like I will be okay if this boy or whatever doesn't Snapchat me back, you know? I'll be okay if he doesn't text me back, and like all these things, just like managing your expectations with the people in your life. What really changed it for me is that I had to find myself, and I had to be so confident with who I was that that's how I didn't let all like the other people in my life affect me like that much, you know, because I know that like my friendships mean so much more than like the little things they do for me, you know what I mean? That is okay that like someone like, I'm just using Tabitha for example, or like Audrey, that they don't show their affection that way, but they still love me so much. And like I have to know that. And once I was comfortable with myself, I was comfortable with everyone around me. And I realized that it's okay that like I'm always thinking like, oh, I wonder if Audrey wants coffee, or like, oh, I wonder if Audrey wants some like peanut M&Ms or whatever, you know, like that's okay for me to think that, even though they don't think that back. It's just like different personalities, and like that is okay. With also finding who I was, I learned that like it's okay to ask for help, you know? It's okay to ask one of your friends like, hi, I really need you, can you please come over? Not just like expect them to, and then when they don't, be upset because they didn't read your mind, you know? Like they cannot read your mind. And that's something I thought for a while people could do, you know what I mean? Like I thought people knew what I wanted, but they don't, and that's okay. Overall, my expectations used to be so built up, and I convinced myself that like that's the way friendships and like relationships had to be. And I just ended up being disappointed, and I would just continually be disappointed. And I'm not saying that like you should expect nothing from other people, obviously, but like knowing what like the limits are, and like in realizing like what my expectations were for other people, that was really difficult, because in like one of my friendships in particular, I realized that like I wasn't receiving as much affection as I was giving, like not even nearly as much. And so I had to distance myself from that person a little bit, and like we're not as close as we like used to be, but like that's okay, we're still friends. It was just like I had to step back because I realized like so much of myself was being like given away like for this other person, and like it's not their fault. It's just like as people, our relationship wasn't healthy. And I don't know, it's like important to like realize that. Basically, I'm making this video for people like me or like some, I don't know, that have so much love and affection, and I want everyone to like know that like you deserve someone or people in your life who reciprocate that, but also managing your expectations that like, you know, people are different. People show their love differently, and you have to understand that. You have to realize that, and that is okay. That is something that is more than okay. One thing that like Pearl said to me, oh God, this like makes me really emotional, but she just said, I guess for now, just know that you have so many people who would do so much for you. Like, even if sometimes you don't feel like it or don't see it, there are so many people who love you so much and would drop anything to help you out. And if you do that for someone and they don't do it for you, it's honestly not worth your time and tears, even though I really do understand how upsetting it can be. You care so much, Luce, and it's such a great thing how much you love all your friends and family and things in life, and you deserve that same adoration back so much. Like, that makes me so happy, and like it's like validation like that like makes me know that like it's okay that I care so much, and like I need to learn how to use that in like healthy ways, or else I'm just gonna get hurt. Just putting your energy and your love into things that will reciprocate that. Not even they don't have to be people. It can be like a hobby, or like working out, putting your energy into that because you know physically it makes you feel like so much better and like healthier. Or like for me, YouTube, my camera died, but what I was talking about, YouTube, like putting my love and energy into something like YouTube that I get a lot out of, you know, I feel fulfilled from it. It allows me to like have this creative outlet, and like just learning to like put your energy into that. And you know, sometimes things won't come out of it, but you gotta try. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope someone, at least like one person, got something out of it. But yeah, just if you're like me, just stay passionate. Just like learn to use your love and your beautiful, beautiful energy into things that are healthy and will make you happy. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.